Greetings and salutations. Welcome to my MasterClass. Today I'm going to show you some interactive audio implementation of a little game I scored called Tainted Touch. So this game is fairly simple. It's a dungeon crawler, pretty quick to play. The music consists of main menu music, main gameplay music, divided into explore layer and combat layers. Then there's a final boss battle, victory music, and of course, death. So here's the main character. Our main weapon is this vial of tears. The game was never completed, sadly, so I can't really show you much else in the way of gameplay itself, but I can show you how the music functions. So here's my Wwise project file. Now let me just show you all the bits and pieces of music we've got. We've got the main menu music right here. Pretty catchy. Might get stuck in your head. And then main gameplay music. Here's victory. Boss battle. And we are all mortal beings. And there will come a day when we must pass on from this world into the next. At which point, this music will be played. Each of these cues is loaded into a music playlist container where I can set the rules for looping. Some of these pieces have a very clean loop, like the boss battle, but most of these require an intro or start cue followed by a looping segment. The beginning of the looping segment includes reverb tails and notes that might carry over from the end of the loop. This way you avoid abrupt cutoffs and really obvious loops. Take the menu music for instance. Here is the start of the menu music. But in the menu loop, if you listen really carefully, you can hear some notes carried over from the end of the loop, and you also hear a harp transition back into the beginning of the menu theme. This way we avoid a really obvious loop. So the music playlist container basically tells the game to play the menu start music first and only once, followed by the menu loop music, which is looped infinitely. Each piece of music corresponds to a game state. Here are all my game states. I have boss, gameplay main, victory, then alive and dead. So each of these music playlist containers are loaded into a music switch container, which tells the game to switch back and forth between different pieces of music, depending on which state the game is in. So if you are alive, and you are in your main gameplay, you will be hearing gameplay main music playlist container. If you are alive and you're in a boss battle, then you will be hearing the boss music playlist container. If you have defeated the boss and you are in a state of victorious, glorious victory, you will of course hear, just kidding, you'll hear the victory music because we will be in the game state of victory, which activates victory playlist container. So back to my main gameplay music. Like I mentioned, there are two layers, explore layer and a combat layer. Both layers are playing simultaneously. The combat layer volume is corresponding to a game parameter called enemy. If the enemy has a value of 100, that means that there are enemies. A value of 0, that means there are no enemies. So in my RTPC panel of my combat layer, I have the volume and a low pass filter corresponding to the value of this enemy game parameter. Let's see how that works. So if I'm playing this music, no enemies, then I can move this value. This is the game parameter value. Now it's at 100. There you go. Hear those enemies? They're coming at you. And no enemies anymore. Oh, here we are again. And no more enemies. Anyway, you get the idea. So, implementation. How does the game know which state we're going to be in? So each game state is determined by an event that occurs in the game. Each event has been uniquely set by the developers and corresponds to an event in Unity or Unreal or whatever they're using. and they pass those events along to me. So here are all the events that correspond to music. Game start. First, I have the command stop all. Incredibly dangerous command. Literally everything in your immediate vicinity will come to a complete and abrupt halt. No exceptions. The first time I tried implementing this command, there was a helicopter flying overhead. Yeah. In addition to that, this stop all command will stop any music that might be playing. This is called whenever you hit the main menu button. After you die, you go back to the main menu, or after victory. We want to make sure that any victory music, any player death music is stopped, and then we will play the main menu command. Gameplay, once you press play from the menu, gameplay music starts. So we're going to stop the main menu music. We're going to set the state to alive, and we're going to set the state to gameplay main, and then we're going to play the gameplay music playlist container. Set the state to alive, which means you will not be hearing the dead music. Setting the state to gameplay main again means you're going to be hearing the explore music, and we're playing the gameplay music switch container, which will then allow you to switch between gameplay or the boss battle or player dead victory music. So for enemy sided, instead of setting a state, we're setting a game parameter. Remember that game parameter that controls the combat layer music? When an enemy first pops up, the enemy sided command is called, and then that sets the enemy game parameter to 100, which will then bring up that combat music volume. So I just want to show you that game parameter real quick. So I have the interpolation mode set to slew rate, and this determines how slow or fast we're going to hear that enemy combat layer. So I have the attack set to 100, which means a fast attack. When an enemy pops up, then bam, we are in action. When we're done fighting, we don't need an immediate release of that combat music, so I have the release set to 16. That means it'll fade out a little bit slower. Back to the other events. My enemy clear event, once again, is setting the enemy game parameter, this time to 0. The combat layer will fade out, and we're back into just the regular old explore music. Boss battle. This is setting the state to boss for the boss defeated event. When the boss is defeated, and we are in a victorious state of glorious victory, then the state will be set to victory. Eventually, our player will head back to that main menu. So let's do a quick recap. Each music cue is located in a music playlist container, which tells it how to loop. Each of these music playlist containers are in a music switch container, which links the music with a particular game state. Each game state is determined by an event that is called in the game, and the combat layer of music is played simultaneously alongside the explorer layer, and that corresponds to a game parameter called enemy, which is in turn set by a game event as well. So let's see how all of this works together. Here's my soundcaster. Each of these panels corresponds to a game event. So I have game start, gameplay, enemy sided, enemy clear, boss battle, player dead, boss defeated, all the events that we have already discussed. All right, let's see how this all works together, shall we? So we open the game up, and we are in our main menu. We hear our main menu music, and we press play. All right, we are exploring. We are crawling around. It is a dungeon crawler. I don't know why they don't have kitchen crawlers, hospital crawlers, Del Taco crawlers. Anyways, we're exploring. And inevitably, we will come into contact with people who do not care for us, called enemies. Now, these enemies are really just misunderstood. It's really quite sad that the only way to get rid of them is to kill them, because in real life, anyways, kill the enemies, enemies cleared. And there's more enemies. Okay. You know, in my opinion, the music gets way cooler when there are enemies around. Back to boring normal explore music. Life is more exciting when there's enemies around. Anyways, enemies again. They just keep popping up out of everywhere, out of the nooks and crannies of the dungeon. And, well, this time we just couldn't hang. We just died. It's really quite sad, actually. Death. I wonder what happens when you die. Do you ever wonder what happens when you die? So we are back at the main menu. Gameplay. Let's go ahead and jump ahead to the boss battle. So let me tell you about this boss. This boss is a big hairy dude. He's got 47 tentacles, 14 eyes, and a tattoo of his mom on his butt, which his mom doesn't know about, but she's about to find out, let me tell you. He's flinging poop. He's shooting projectile diarrhea. Well, by the grace of God, we have defeated this boss. Yes. Yes. I just want to thank my friends and family for their support. My dear wife, Ronnie. My little baby, Whyman, who is yet to be born, but who will know this amazing. So that's that. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you have any questions, I highly recommend Wiki app. Man, they just, literally any topic. How to write a symphony, how to put a dresser together, how to change a diaper, how to cook pasta, how to change the oil in your car. Just, I hope you have a great day. Peace.